Good evening and welcome to Inner Sydney High School's Open Night webinar. My name is Matthew and I am joined by Azra. We are students from Year 7 and we will be the hosts for this evening's Open Night webinar.
Kui, hello in the Gadigal language. Mariah Bunin, welcome. At Inner Sydney High School, we would like to acknowledge and pay respect to the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We acknowledge the connection with the land, nature, and each other. We acknowledge that our school is built on what was, is, and always will be Gadigal land. I would now like to hand over to Ms. Robin Matthews, who will present the principal's overview.
Thank you so much. Well, it's a pleasure to see so many families online this afternoon. And I'd also like to acknowledge that we are on Gadigal land. Look, today is a very special time for us. It's a chance for us to reflect on where we are at Inner Sydney High School and to welcome so many families to our school for 2024. But what I'd also like to do, first of all, is introduce you to our fabulous executive team. So I'll start with Nigel Kwan, Head Teacher Science, Sam Paris, Head Teacher Administration, Jodie Kelso, Head Teacher Teaching Learning, Karen Witherden, Head Teacher Teaching Learning, Stephanie Davis, Head Teacher Creative and Performing Arts, Renee Lane, Deputy Principal, Chris Kazanis, Deputy Principal, Phil Walker, Head Teacher Technological and Applied Studies, Ashwin Ashok, Head Teacher Mathematics, and finally, Sonia Davis, who is Deputy Principal Wellbeing and Support. So what we're going to do this afternoon is actually start off with a presentation for you. And then you're going to hear some really important information from our students. So thank you, Nigel, for that, for projecting the slideshow. So what we're going to do today is actually work through really the main features of Inner Sydney High School, what matters most, our enrolment information. Sorry, we're just keeping up to speed here with the presentation. Our Year 6 and 7 transition program, and also information about our school, because I'm sure you're very keen to visit our school next week for our open night next week. So how about a few facts about the school? We opened in 2020. We are proudly co-educational and comprehensive. Currently, we have over 800 students, with students in Year 7, 8, 9 and 10. And as you are probably aware, the school will grow year by year with each cohort, and we're nearly there. We do have capacity for 1,200 students, and as you would be aware, we do have an enrolment catchment in place. Now, in terms of your journey starting with at Inner Sydney, it really is about high expectations. It's about really preparing our students in terms of requirements for learning. We really want our students to be the best versions of themselves. And it's really important that we allow our students to celebrate their own successes. And really, in everyday life at Inner Sydney, it is about really practicing our guiding principles and modelling that of kindness, excellence and respect. This vision still stands strong. We actually developed this vision back in 2019. And if you can just have a look at that slide, it really does capture the work that we are doing here at Inner Sydney. It is so important, and we still stand by this mantra, that all of our students are known, valued and cared for. Students and teachers, we really are so keen to make sure that we are agile, that we are reflective in the work that we do. And it's really important that our relationship with our parents and stakeholders, it is a partnership. And we really need to make sure that we can do that to maximise the potential for our students for their future success and well-being. And as you can see from our wonderful facilities, we are really a centre of excellence for contemporary learning, and we continue to refine the work that we do. So we have incredible facilities, flexible learning spaces, and we really want to make sure that our students thrive in a really stimulating learning environment. A few challenges there for everybody. So in terms of this is a really important infographic that really just sums up the main areas for our strategic improvement plan. And you can see that there's lots of information there, and don't worry too much because we'll actually send this out as a presentation for you as well. And this will be available for you at our open night next week. But you can see there those three main strategic directions. And that's about student growth and attainment. It's about innovation and inspired teaching and learning. And also really important is our authentic collaborations and connections. And I think all of us here at Inner Sydney are so keen to really cement the connections with our community, particularly in light of the post-COVID world that we are in. And just to highlight what I mentioned before, there are our three main strategic directions which really guides the work that we do at Inner Sydney. Now, what does it look like? But how does that actually translate? How does that articulate into a day in the life of Inner Sydney? And as I mentioned before, it is about our contemporary practices. We are so keen to explore areas such as transdisciplinary learning and also in terms of our co-teaching. We have a blended use of technology, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. We've really revamped our work in assessment reporting. We really believe there's a lot of rigour there, and it's such an important part of that growth and attainment. It is about teaching wellbeing explicitly, because our world today is actually very challenging for everybody. It's about providing the right conditions for growth, and a really key element that we're really focusing on this year is high performing and gifted education. And if you are interested, we have lots of our online webinars available on our website if you'd like to have more information. And this is a really lovely summary, because it really does sum up the work we're doing. And as I mentioned before, it is a partnership. It's a partnership between our students, our parents, our teachers, and our local community and our wider community as well. And it is based around the premises of positive education. And there are many teachers around the table that will be able to share a bit more information about POSED later on if you wish. But once I mentioned earlier, our guiding principles, and I'm not quite sure how many schools actually explicitly do this, but we practice this in many ways, and that is about kindness. And it's something which I think we've seen over the last few years, and it really resonates with the world that we're in today. And also about respect. It's such a foundation in what we need in terms of building respectful, positive relationships with our peers and with our teachers. And of course, striving for excellence, because of course we want the best for our child, and we want to make sure that we have the best opportunities for our students to meet their own personal goals and future successes. Now, just a simple one. As you'll see within Inner Sydney, we do things a little bit differently, but it's really important that our students are prepared for learning. And this is where that partnership is really important. It's about making sure our students are prepared before even coming to school, bringing their right equipment to school, making sure laptops are charged, and also within their learning spaces, and make sure they're leaving. So that's just an example of what we do to ensure our students are ready for learning every day, for every learning session. Now, another example of the way in which we've really kind of developed this from scratch, and this is our fabulous in-SID teams. And we can see there we have our teams developed right back with our foundation year in 2020. And our teams are based around Freeman, Goods, Barty and Thurston. And we're really excited to see some more work in this area. We'll actually see our teams not just be about sport, but also acknowledge student kindness, excellence and respect, and will really be a foundation part of our school. Now, here's a long list of our extracurricular activities, and I think this is a really important shout out to all of our teachers that actually do give up their time. And I know many of our Year 7 students will be talking about some of these activities in their presentations, but it really is a fantastic hallmark, I think, of the work that we do. And I know our performing arts ensembles in particular have been really going from strength to strength each year. Student wellbeing. Well, I know that once again, a lot of teachers around me this afternoon, we've done a lot of work in this area. We're really proud of the work that we do in terms of supporting our students in terms of their wellbeing. So as I mentioned earlier, we have adopted the positive education framework. We see wellbeing explicitly taught throughout our school day at different points throughout the week, but also throughout the year. So a really wonderful aspect of our curriculum model is our touchdown sessions. That actually runs 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday's themed around mindfulness, Wednesday's about explicit wellbeing strategies, and Friday is actually seeking feedback from our students, as also conducting year meetings as well. And the nice part about touchdown means that each touchdown group, they're a smaller group with a touchdown mentor, and then overarching that is our lead mentor as well. So it's a really important part of the school day for our students. And as I mentioned before, once again, is our students are really known, valued and cared for. And we really want to make sure that when our students are part of our school, that there are lots of people they can go to for support, but also for guidance as well. Now, curriculum. Some of you might think, well, what are we actually teaching at Inner Sydney High School? And I'm really pleased to say that we actually deliver the same curriculum as every other school in New South Wales, government and non-government. The main difference there will be this, is that languages, often schools may deliver languages differently. And for us here at Inner Sydney, we have actually changed slightly to deliver our language 100 hours continuous in Year 8. And that means we have that continuous learning of a language through from 8, 9 and 10. The other difference might be is sport. We have sport on a Tuesday afternoon, and some obviously non-government schools run sport on a Saturday morning. So that's where we differ, but we also are able to offer opportunities to knock out sport and grade sport on that Tuesday afternoon. Now, pursue your passion. Pursue your passion is a really important part of our day where students are able to engage in project-based learning in individual and group opportunities. PIP occurs on a Tuesday morning on the same day as sport, and we've kind of sort of themed PIP to actually meet the needs of our students starting off in Year 7. So, for example, our first semester is about identity. Our second half of the year is about sustainability. The first term in Year 8 is about learning about your community. And then it goes into their own world where they can actually pursue their own passion. And that was through feedback that we had from our students that said they wanted to find out their own passion. And that's actually what we've been doing in terms 2, 3 and 4 in Year 8. It's a lovely segue really into the electives for stage 5, which is 9 and 10. Now, in terms of technology, I might just hand over to Chris for a minute, so he might just walk you through a little bit about our technology strategy at Inner Sydney.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. Look, it's something that we're very proud of. We have basically been able to ensure that all students do have access to a device as part of our blended learning model. It doesn't mean that the device is used every single session, but it is definitely used as a tool to enhance educational outcomes in the classroom. What you will note is currently for Year 7, we do have a school-issued device for each of the students, and that is given out through a technology levy which supports the process as well as on-site support. And then what we saw was really in the growth into, in particular, elective courses, a bit of a need for a shift within technology. So we actually came up with a hybrid technology strategy, and this has been introduced now in 2022. I think it's really important to also note, Robin, that we do actually evaluate our strategy every year. And obviously we use it in terms of being able to deliver school and student management systems and things such as Microsoft Teams and OneNote, which really drives a lot of the learning that takes place in the classroom and allows students to be able to access answers to lessons even after the lesson has been completed. We also do have a great suite of Mac, iMacs and iPads to bolster the learning, especially in some of our practical lessons and CAPA subjects there. And then we do also through TAS have things such as our 3D printer filming and laser cutters. We do also subscribe with several different e-subscriptions through mathematics, English and science, just to name a few. And what we really try to do is underpin the fact that technology plays such a vital role in the greater community and how we can best use it in terms of authentic collaboration and connections. So I think it's just really important, obviously, as we come towards our orientation day, we'll have a bit more information for the families that are coming here next year. But I guess that sort of gives them a little bit of an idea where we're heading in terms of technology, Robin.
Thanks so much, Chris. And we just thought it was important to include some important information to you about getting to know our day. So for everyone's information, we start school at 8:50. I know that we did some great work earlier in the week with the webinar, Renee, in relation to attendance and how important it is for students to attend on time every day to maximise their learning. So school starts at 8:50 to 3:10, and just to confuse you, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we finish a little bit earlier on a Tuesday for sport, and on Thursday we do professional learning, so a little bit earlier on Thursday as well. A lot of students are very keen to know we have a cafe on site, because I know some primary schools may not have a cafe. We also have a parent portal, which is also something which you can find out lots of information about the school when you join our school next year. And as I mentioned earlier, sport is actually held on Tuesday afternoon. And a lot of Year 7 parents are very keen for their children to have lockers, but we don't have those for all students. However, in special circumstances, there will be lockers available, and that will be, you'll be able to apply for those next year when you join our school. Now, iWeek. Sometimes high school can be overwhelming, and I think something that we've really refined each year is how we actually prepare our students for high school life. And we have something, and you'll see the word I, the letter I appear a fair bit, and that's because it is about inspire. So therefore we call it iWeek. And iWeek prepares our students for life at Inner Sydney. And so we really do think about their community, they're setting them up for success, and the resources for learning. And it takes in so many elements of high school life. And I think after about 3 or 4 days, our students are raring to go and very keen to get really into high school. And that's all about organisational skills, how to use their laptops, how to actually get to know our incredible facilities, because surprisingly, you might think our tour is very confusing, but it's honestly our students orientate themselves so quickly. So our I-Week, we continue to refine, but it's a great way to start high school life. Now, probably the burning information that you might be really keen to know about, and that is about how do you actually enrol at inner Sydney High School. And you might have seen, if you have had a child in high school previously, the process has actually changed. So your primary school will send you out, and you probably would have received the email by now, with a unique link that will actually be specific to you, and that will be available from your primary school. Now, there is also paper copies available. So what you need to do is really seek out the information from your primary school if you haven't already. If you're not sure, please go and see your school tomorrow or contact your primary school. Now, if you're not sure whether we are going to be part of your, if we are your in-area school, please go to the school finder and you can just put your address in, and that will tell you whether Inner Sydney High School is actually going to be your in-area school. Now, as you can see from the slide, that is our catchment area, and we have to stick really closely to that catchment area because the demand for the school is really, really high. So if you are also able to put an application in for an out-of-area placement if you wish, and that would be the case, and that's what you follow the processes to do. Now, if you are attending a non-government primary school, then please go to the Department of Education website and follow the information and the link there, and you'll be able to return that to Inner Sydney High School. So now, just for some more information about the catchment, I think this is super important. To actually verify the fact you are in area, we do need a 100-point check for your residential address. And so it's just really important to be really clear about this, is that the child must reside at the permanent residential address at the commencement of the school year. So for example, if you were to enrol now and then you move out of the area, then you wouldn't be able to start the year next year. You have to reside at that permanent residential address at the beginning of 2024. And for families that might be renting, we need to have evidence of a current 12-month rental lease agreement through a registered real estate agent and rental bond certificate. Now, I know this is a lot of information, and I will be available next Thursday night to answer any specific questions about enrolment. And please, on our website, our enrolment guidelines are there as well. So please have a look at our guidelines. I'm happy to go through that with you next week as well. And I can also answer any questions that you might have through our Q&A. Now, year 6 to 7 transition. This is once again, we now have to fast forward to term 4. And it's so exciting when you start to know that you will be attending our school for next year. So we hold a variety of different activities just to really help that transition to high school. And it starts with our networking day, and that's on Tuesday, the 7th of November. And that's for a chance that we identify the students that might need to have that extra day to connect with peers. And something which has been a feature of Inner Sydney High School are our family interviews. So what we will do is invite every single family to attend an online interview with a member of staff. And it's a great way to get to know you, get to know your child, find out about their strengths, achievements, and any other additional needs that they might require. And we'll also have learning support staff on site for that in case there might be some additional time required. But it really is such a fabulous opportunity to gather lots of information and just a great way to get to know our community. As well as that, like every other student in a state school in New South Wales attending a state high school, there'll be an orientation day on Tuesday, the 28th of November, and that will also be for all students. Parents, you can actually drop your child off, but it will be for students only. And we'll also hold a webinar, information webinar, that will provide lots of information to make sure your child and your family are ready to start high school in 2024. Now, this is the big one. Next week, I think we have quite a few families that have already registered, which is absolutely fantastic. And really, that's just the way we can gauge the numbers so we can make sure that everyone is on board for next Thursday, the 16th of March, from 4 till 7. Now, the try booking details are available on our website, so you can secure a tour for your year 6 child starting for next year. I would ask you though, please make sure we do target our year 6 students this year rather than for younger years. And what we'll do is actually run our community tours every term, where you can actually bring family members who might want to come for a tour or have a look at the school, and potentially if they're in years 2, 3, 4, 5, that would be very much appreciated. Okay, a lot of talking from me. We're nearly at the end. We're going to actually hand over to the students really soon. But how do you find out about, what else is happening at Inner Sydney? Well, first of all, there's always the phone. Please don't hesitate to pick up the phone and contact us if you have any questions. We also have our website that we're always trying to update all the time, and all of our webinars will be available on our website. We also have a Facebook page, Instagram and Twitter. So feel free to follow us on those social media platforms. Now, on that note, I'm really excited to hear from our students, because as I said before, they're very keen to come on to actually be part of the presentation. So what I'll do now is hand over to Matthew and Azra. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Matthews. We will now hear from a number of Year 7 and 8 students on life at Inner Sydney High School. Firstly, I'd like to invite Charville to speak about leadership and Paolo to speak about the vast extracurricular opportunities at Inner Sydney High School.
At Inner Sydney, we build leaders of the future that get inspired to learn important life skills that model real-world situations. Our leadership structure is designed to give all our students a chance to grow their leadership skills. At Inner Sydney, anyone can join the student-inspired leadership team. Within this leadership team, we are provided with the opportunity to work on a select portfolios and to organize events to develop a positive school culture. We have portfolios at Inner Sydney, including community, sustainability, social justice, well-being, and sport. Our leadership group has opportunities like running barbecues during book week to raise funds for support literacy programs in disadvantaged communities. We also have a yearly Christmas drive to provide essentials for the homeless through Wayside Chapel. You also have the chance to be an executive leader of portfolio, a position which you apply for. By joining the leadership team, you will gain many skills, including collaboration, organization, goal setting, communication, and collaborate with a versatile group of students and teachers. In a nutshell, at Inner Sydney, the leadership team gives you opportunities to contribute to the school community, build friendships, and learn how to be an effective leader. In my opinion, it is a great opportunity, and I, for one, encourage everyone to experience this life-changing opportunity. Thank you.
At Inner Sydney High School, we have a vast range of extracurricular activities available for students to participate in. This includes a growing performance arts ensemble program, which has many drama and dance ensembles, as well as a strong instrumental music program, including a concert band, big band, which is a jazz orchestra, jazz combo, and string ensemble, plus a vocal ensemble. At school, I'm involved in the school concert band, big band, and jazz combo, and I play the saxophone in all these bands, and I play the piano in big band. I've really enjoyed playing in these bands as I've grown my musical skills and experience through these bands. These ensembles also provide performance opportunities and concerts both in school and publicly, such as In the Spotlight for Dance and our annual Whip Night at school. These ensembles and music rehearsals are outside of school times and do have a fee. We also have a variety of other activities such as Creative Writing Club, Math Explorers, Debating and Public Speaking, as well as a Knitting Club and Avant-Garde Art Makers. In these clubs, you can learn new skills or improve your skills. Our sporty students also have opportunities to participate in extracurricular activities such as swim club, badminton club, and table tennis club. Each year, the list is growing to accommodate our teachers and students' interests. To sum it up, extracurricular activities are a great way to meet new people with similar interests and to learn new skills. So I highly encourage you get involved in an extracurricular activity at INSID.
Layla will now talk to you about the sporting opportunities on offer at Inner Sydney High School. Maya will then talk to you about the technology that we use at Inner Sydney High School and the various platforms we access as part of our learning.
Sport is a big part of school life here at INSID. There are 3 different categories for sport at this school on Tuesday afternoons: grade sport, recreation sport, and house sport. Grade sport is played against other schools in a friendly and competitive environment. Some grade sports include OzTag, touch footy, basketball, ultimate vortex, and netball. Unlike grade sport, recreational is only played with children from the school. This option is great if you want to have fun and be challenged in a less stressful environment than grade sport. Some sports in this category are rock climbing, ice skating, bowling, indoor futsal, volleyball, basketball, and so many more to choose from. I chose futsal, where we have to travel by public transport to get there. House sport is a free option and includes sports like basketball and badminton. At INSID, we have 4 teams: Freeman, Goods, Thurston, and Barty, each named after an Aboriginal Aussie sport legend. These teams compete against one another in the swimming, athletics, and cross-country carnivals across the year to determine which team is the best. Extracurricular sports are also a big part of sport at this school, with options such as volleyball, swim club, and badminton. These sport options are fantastic if students are looking forward for an extra challenge or want to get better at a certain sport or even try a new sport. Sports at this school is incredible, with many different options to choose from and more sports options coming out in the future.
At Inner Sydney High School, the meaningful use of technology is highly promoted. In Year 7, you are assigned a laptop, but from Year 8 onwards, you have a choice of bringing your own or continuing to use the school laptop. You will use your laptop along with your textbooks and exercise books during class. We have 2 main platforms here in Inner Sydney: Microsoft Teams and OneNote. Teams is where you'll be able to contact your teacher if you need any help on assessments or tasks given to you, and you will also submit your assessments in there. OneNote is our second platform, which is where most of your prep will be. It will also be where you have information on lessons and resources, or where you may work in class if you're not using textbooks. You will use your laptop for prep and assessment tasks, which are a part of Inner Sydney's curriculum. Prep and assessments are new words, but not to worry. Prep and assessments are essentially homework and projects to assess where you are in your learning journey. We also have the opportunity to learn and develop our coding skills in CME. Here you explore a variety of flowcharts, JavaScripts, then eventually you'd be able to create your own game. You probably didn't explore this subject as much in primary. Having a laptop helps students be more self-directed, and teachers integrate many platforms and learning games into their lessons. It is also helpful for research and exploring different ways of presenting the information you have learned. Thank you.
PYP, or Pursue Your Passion, is held every Tuesday morning for Years 7 and 8. Charlize will now talk to you about her experience in PYP. Finally, Jack will talk to you about our wellbeing structure, including Touchdown and Camp at Inner Sydney High School.
PYP, or Pursue Your Passion, is a cross-curriculum project-based subject that occurs every Tuesday morning for Years 7 and 8. In Year 7, we spend the first semester, so terms 1 and 2, talking about identities, stories, and culture. We look into what we're grateful for, our stories, and how we can explore elements such as place, name, interests, and experiences creatively to better understand ourselves and each other. We also learn about why it is important to understand other people's stories. This is especially important as we are all coming together from a variety of different schools into Year 7. This may include a hearing from an artist, studying works, or an excursion to somewhere like a museum or an art gallery. All of this leads to a major work that is produced along with many projects along the way. My major project was an acrylic art pour. All the colours mixed on the canvas poured together represented me being mixtures of everything. I made this artwork using some of my character strengths to choose the colours. Pink representing leadership, purple representing kindness, blue representing perseverance, beige representing fairness, and white representing perspective. I enjoyed it and was very excited about my finished product. In semester 2, so terms 3 and 4, we learnt about sustainability and the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We also went on excursions to develop our knowledge on places in the educational precinct, such as Redfern Gardens, Central Park, Barangaroo, and Michael Mobb's Sustainable House. We used our learning to create our own sustainable house in Minecraft and campaigned for a sustainable initiative that supported one of these 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This year in Year 8 PYP, we will be choosing from a variety of interesting areas such as forensics, music composition, art and photography, true crime, and introduction to the law, just to name a few. PYP has taught me about what happens in our society and environment. We learn about the things that the world can do to improve and create solutions as a team. It has helped us all learn about what we can do as the next generation. Thank you.
Student well-being is important, and here at Inner Sydney, the model of positive education helps support students' self-esteem and building character strengths, such as resilience, kindness, self-regulation, and determination. One way this is done is through Touchdown, which is a 20-minute session held 3 times a week. On Monday, we work on developing skills of mindfulness. On Wednesday, we complete activities focused on developing well-being generally. And on Friday, we give feedback to the school about any concerns we may have. We also participate in fun activities and recharge for the rest of the day. A highlight of Year 7 I really enjoyed was a school camp. It was a great way to make new friends and have a lot of fun through engaging in teamwork building activities and challenges. At the end of it, I knew so many new people and felt bonded as a group. I also got to know my lead mentor and some teachers better. At school, we have an awesome team of friendly staff that are always ready to support, encourage, and counsel us when we need them to. Kindness, excellence, and respect are core at Inner Sydney High School, and it is through all these activities and day-to-day life that we are encouraged to flourish. Thank you.
We will now begin our Q&A part of the presentation. If you would like to ask a question, please post your questions in the Q&A section of the webinar. They will be displayed to the panel, who will answer as many as they can live.
Thank you very much, Ezra. And obviously, it takes tremendous courage. So we just want to give a big round of our wonderful Year 7 and Year 8 students. And I've just got to say that actually all those speeches are written by the students themselves. So it is from their perspective. We really believe in being authentic here at Inner Sydney High School. So it is their experiences that they are sharing with you today. On another courageous note, panel, we do open up our live Q&A because we think it's really important that there probably are particular questions that families might have in regards to our open evening. Now, obviously, a lot of people will be coming here next week for our actual tours, but what we'll do is we will have an opportunity to answer some of those questions live. So please feel free to use the live Q&A function, which is down the bottom there. You can see it as Q&A with a couple of little speech bubbles to ask us any questions. I will start with one question very quickly from the team. Just in terms of ensembles and tryouts, I'm just going to throw one over to you, Ms. Davies, obviously as head of Kappa. What would be the process for someone who is interested in one of those ensembles, perhaps dance or drama, and is there a process and a cost involved?
Yes, there is. Thanks for the question. So in early term 1, we will do an announcement and have a meeting with students who are interested. So that's for drama, dance, and music ensembles. Then we have expressions of interest for those students, and then we run an audition process. So there is cost involved in all our ensemble programs as they occur after school, and we do have some external composers who come and tutor the students.
Thank you very much, Ms Davies. Now, we do have a question from Peter. It is about practicing foreign languages, and the example is Mandarin there, that is not currently offered at inner city high school, and the opportunity to continue with them on that learning journey. Is there an option in terms of extracurricular activities or other options within the school? And obviously there are a few. I will ask Ms Lane, who will probably field that question there in terms of the languages.
Sure. So at present we have Japanese has been our language. We also have the same teacher teaches Italian as well. So we don't offer extracurricular languages at present, but we do have a languages club that meets once a week. So through that that particular club, they can access other resources and other languages. But if you are doing things outside of school, and you continue on doing that as something that you do as a part of the school.
And I think, Peter, it's also important to note that we do have the Secondary College of Languages, which is like a Saturday school. And as we come into stage 5, we also do have New South Wales School of Languages, which is studying languages by distance ed. So we do try to open up those opportunities, especially as we get into stage 5 and stage 6. All right, just another question from Gabe, and I think I'm going to ask Ms Davies, who's our Head Teacher of Wellbeing and Support. And first of all, Gabe acknowledges our wonderful students and their presentation. It's always nice to get that positive feedback. Just very quickly, in terms of support mechanisms for neurodiverse children at inner city high school.
Sure. So we will have extra transition for students that are neurodiverse or that have learning needs. So you will be reached out to early in term 4. I meet with all of the primary schools, so I get lots of background information from primary schools, and from that we'll reach out to certain families and certain students, and we'll have the PLSPs, so the personalised learning and support plans, or you might have heard them as IEPs in primary school. We'll have those in place at the start of the year. So all students who are neurodiverse will have plans in place as you start, but there will be more details to come. And if you want to ask any questions, please approach me next Thursday.
Okay, just this one from Anonymous. One thing we will ask, just for our families at home, if there is a possibility of adding a name or a bit of context, it means that we can just ensure that when we do answer, it is as accurate as possible. But just from Anonymous, and I'll hand this one to you, Ms Matthew.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there an option for students who are keen to acquire the International Baccalaureate qualification?
Well, that's a fairly simple one at the moment for us, because currently New South Wales public schools do not offer the IB. So that actually, because we offer the HSC credential from NESA. So unfortunately, currently we're not able to offer the IB. It's only for non-government schools.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms Matthews. Now, it is an interesting predicament that we are in here as a panel, because obviously our webinar must have been a really good presentation. There isn't a huge amount of questions, but we do strongly encourage our community. Obviously, we will be connecting with you next week on Thursday. We do have several hundred RSVPs for the trial bookings, quite a few hundred there, and obviously we are happy to answer some of those questions on site. It will also be a great opportunity to see just a couple of mini demonstrations within our faculty KLA areas, as well as looking within our spaces. But if there actually aren't any further questions, what this presentation will be done is it will be posted. I knew someone would jump on there just as I said that, to prove me wrong. However, we will get to your question in a second, but it is a great opportunity, this forum, to ask questions, because we do have all our experts here from every KLA. Now, Amber just asked about most extracurricular activities on site. What time does school close to students each day? I think that's a really excellent question. I'm actually going to answer that one. We are really fortunate. We do offer well and truly over 20 different extracurricular activities. Now, you would have noticed on the list there, it was broken down into some that had an educational background, some that were based around just extracurricular, and some that were through the Kappa performing arts sort of space. We do continue to grow that every single day. And in answer to your question, we essentially have activities almost every morning, afternoon, and at least at some stage throughout the day, Monday through Friday. Our list also continues to grow. So that is actually what's on offer right now as we speak. That is 6 weeks in. Some of our activities do take a little bit more time to be able to get up and running. For example, Duke of Ed, which is something that we did have a presentation on yesterday for our oldest students.
And Mr. Kazana's Learning Hub.
Learning Hub. We have had to actually increase due to demand, and there are some wonderful teachers that you do see here on this panel that actually give up their valuable time to support our students after school in almost like a homework centre style learning hub, where they can actually take any prep work that they've got which is what we call homework, as well as any other sort of assignments or extension activities that they need support with there. And that is an example of availability after school. But in essence, Amber, you'll see people that are here from roughly about 7:30 in the morning and pretty much through to at least 4:30 every afternoon. And then you obviously do have some staff that stay well beyond that. We are a very hardworking staff here at Inner Sydney. Irina asked a question just about the possibility to apply out of area. Just expand on this a little bit. I think that will be you, Ms.
I think that's where I read it. Thank you for your question. It's a really important one. I think the easiest way I can explain it is this. So we have a defined footprint here. We have capacity for up to 1,200 students. So currently we are running at over 800 students at the moment. So basically what it means is that if there is, so we say 200 students per year, for example, we have to have a buffer for say 10% of families that might move into area from overseas or, from interstate or even within New South Wales. So we if you think about it this way, so we have say up to 180 students that we offer. And then just say, for example, we don't have 180 in area students that are able to take up those positions. And if there are any other students or positions available, then we can offer out of area placements. Because of the high demand for the school, we have offered very, very few out of areas in the last few years. But there's no reason why you still cannot apply. So you can apply for an out of area, but I can explain to you in more detail next week, but it will be very difficult to gain an out of area placement at Inner Sydney High School, just mainly because our catchment area, so within our catchment area, we're actually filling that sort of at least 180 positions each year. So I hope that makes sense.
All right, now there is another question that I'll sort of start, and Robin, feel free to jump in, but you might need a breath there. Just a little bit about the process of submitting an expression of interest. So I think it's really important, Anonymous. Obviously, your particular primary school, if it is a primary school, a government primary school, you will receive an email from your school. A lot of those emails have been sent out. We've checked with some of our primary schools in the area, and we know that they've already been sent to families. Now, that does have a unique link that corresponds directly with the primary school that your child attends. And what you would do is you would then follow that process. Now, if you are coming from the non-government sector, it's really easy. All you need to do is hop on the Department of Education's website. If you are unsure where to find it there, it was in our PowerPoint presentation in terms of an application for a government high school. You can also jump on our school website. Our school website also contains some of these valuable links. If for any reason you cannot find it, please feel free to reach out to the school and we can give you more information to your context.
I was just about to say, Chris, we'll also post this presentation on our website. That will be the easiest way to access this information tonight. And if I could just answer the next question, that is about this session, like our open night next week is from 4 till 7. And you're right, Jacqueline, it is more of a drop-in situation. So there will be people arriving between 4 till 7, depending on work commitments or picking up students from schools. So hopefully we'll be expecting people through that period of time from 4 till 7. And that's when you'll get the chance to meet our fabulous students and our teachers and get to have a tour of the school.
All right, well, on that note, like I said, a little bit foreign to us. We normally field a few more questions, but obviously our students have done an exceptional job, as well as, of course, Smart Design Studios gets on there. So what approach do you have with high potential and gifted students? I would like to hand that over to Ms. Kelso, who I know is heading that up over there.
Thank you very much. Great question. So when we see you online for your family interviews later on this year, if you have any information you can provide us at that time, we can certainly plan for the arrival of your student and communicate that to our staff and make sure that we're differentiating across all classrooms and providing them with the opportunities that are available to all students, but making sure they are knowing what is available and they can access that from the start. We would also encourage them to attend our homework centre in the afternoons, Mondays or Wednesdays, and we can look at extending them in their area of domain that they excel in.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Kelso. Now, I know that this was sort of answered, but I will just go back to Ms. Davies again, just something more specific in terms of additional needs with autism and other special needs. So maybe just recapping for Anonymous the process. So obviously a lot of our families, rest assured, we do cater for all the needs of all our students.
Yeah, so every student with a diagnosis or a special need has a learning plan. But if you're asking for specific support for students with autism, we do not have a support class. So we are not a school that has a support class where there might be 7 students in a class. So every student, whether they have autism or ADHD, are in the mainstream, supported by SLSOs, but we don't have one-on-one support at the school. We can talk, as I said, if you have any questions, we can talk next Thursday.
All right.
Okay, Chris.
Third time the charm. On that note, what we will do is thank you all. I will hand over to Ms Matthews just for some final remarks.
Oh, look, I just want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. I think it's a really important time to start the journey. It's such an exciting time for all of our, for your children who will be studying high school next year. So we're looking forward to seeing you next week. I think our students were going to close. Is that correct?
Correct.
Over to you. Thank you, Matthew.
That draws our open night webinar to a close. On behalf of myself, Azra, and the rest of the panel, we hope you have a good evening.
Thanks again.